Inside the Lines Playoffs Edition is sponsored by DraftKings.
Hi, welcome to SBRForum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the divisional round of the NFL playoffs right here on SBRForum Videos, and I'm very happy to remind you all that we went 4-0 against the spread in the wild card round with our professional handicappers, and one of those professional handicappers gave us a winner last week was Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, and he's returned this week to talk with us about a divisional round game, the Seattle Seahawks game and the Atlanta Falcons. Joe, thanks for being here once again.
Thank you, Peter. It's my pleasure.
Congratulations on your great pick last week against the spread. We all appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about Offshore Insiders before you get into the Falcons-Seahawks game.
Offshore Insiders, in which I'm the anchor handicapper at God's Tips, and knock on wood, although 2012 is probably not the year I'm most proud of, we did a little introspection, we researched why, and in short, found that they're probably relying a little bit too much on technology and not as much on time-proven techniques. Made some adjustments over the last month. We're back to our 25-plus years of winning. Very proud of that at OffshoreInsiders.com.
Absolutely. Fantastic career and fantastic pick last week. This week, you're going to talk about the Seahawks-Atlanta game. Now, I mean, you know, I'm not even sure what there is. This is a tough game. Everyone knows what the issues are here. Seattle is a small road underdog, but, you know, they might be the magic team this year that just is going to blaze their way all the way to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl. They really turned a corner in the regular season and just started playing. They always had a great defense. They had a few injuries, and then they got healthy, and their offense just exploded at the last part of the season. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, you know, they've covered 5 out of their last 6 spreads. Atlanta, everyone was talking about how Atlanta was a little bit overvalued maybe during the regular season because their on-field stats were not as good as their one-loss record. They were 9-6-1 against the spread on the year, but just 3-4-1 against the spread over their last 8. You know, Seattle does have their sack leader, defensive end Chris Clemens, was injured last game, so he'll be out, but I'm not sure if that is going to matter that much. Again, you know, they're just a team with momentum right now. Who do you like here?
I am going to go with the home team, Atlanta Falcons. Well, the home team not only for this game, but the home team for me, and I'm not a native Atlantan, so I'm not necessarily a Falcons fan, and I would never be biased for or against a team based on what my rooting interest is. Pete Carroll made quite an interesting decision. If Seattle does lose, and I believe that they will lose, there's going to be plenty of second guessing. I'm going to first guess. He decided to take the team from Washington, D.C., fly them all the way back cross-country to Seattle on Sunday night, and then fly them all the way back to Atlanta. Now, in addition to the obvious that's a lot of unnecessarily traveling where he could have checked into a nice hotel here in Atlanta. We've got a beautiful city here, and they could have set up, you know, there's plenty of practice facilities here in Atlanta. But keep in mind that this game is going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So Seattle, by flying back into Seattle, they're going to be back on the biological clock of being in the Western time zone. Now they're going to come to Atlanta where it's going to be a morning game for them. I thought that was a very strange decision. Not to mention this week, look, we had Seattle last week, so we know how good Seattle is. But unlike last week, they're not going to be going against a rookie injured quarterback. So I like Atlanta for sure.
Okay, let me just play devil's advocate here. You know, the Atlanta has not been good with Matt Ryan at quarterback. They're 0-3 in playoff games when he's been at quarterback, including one loss in the Georgia Dome. You know, and in general, people were saying all year long they were a bit overvalued, again, as I said in the beginning. So that doesn't concern you?
No, I was actually one of those people who said they were overvalued. Mm-hmm. Now they're only laying 2.5, and I see it's bounced back up to maybe 3 points in some places. A 2.5-point favorite at home, I would say they're no longer overvalued. Now, keep in mind, 2 of Matt Ryan's losses were to the eventual Super Bowl champions, so they lost to tremendous teams. Also, one of those 90% of the game is half mental things where Mike Smith, the coach of the Falcons, said that last year when they had the bye week, he gave the players 4 days off. He felt maybe they lost their edge. It threw their timing off. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but the Falcons players are kind of regurgitating what their coach said. So from a mental standpoint, I do think that neutralizes the fact they have, as you said, lost all 3 playoff games under Mike Smith. But on the other end of the spectrum, that's experience. Would you rather they haven't played a playoff game? Now, I do realize that Seattle, of course, got that big road win last week, but keep in mind that both quarterbacks, their splits have been much better at home. Now, granted, Russell Wilson has had the type of rookie year that you want from a rookie, where he's gotten better and better each game. No question, his recent road games, he's played better than he did early in the year on the road. Still, I don't want to ignore the fact he's overall played better at home. And Matt Ryan in his career is 35-6 straight up at home. and his splits are really profound career-wise as far as being a much better quarterback at home. So, yeah, there's no such thing as a slam dunk. You can't make a strong argument against any team this deep into the playoffs, but I can make more arguments for Atlanta.
All right, no, those are all good points. I mean, you did say, though, that, Atlanta, 2 of those playoff losses came to the eventual Super Bowl winners, but that could be Seattle this year. I mean, they might be the magic team this year. You're not worried about that? They've got an awesome defense with huge cornerbacks. Russell Wilson, like you said, really turned a corner at the end of the year, and he started playing like a Superman. That you don't think they're the magic team that might go on to win the Super Bowl from the wild card?
Well, any team that's gotten this far can definitely win the Super Bowl, and there is no clear-cut favorite. There's where I would agree with the sports books. There's where I would agree with the media. Falcons not only have a lot of weapons on offense, but they've got a very solid defense as well, and they've had a chance to rest some of their players, John Abraham, Dunta Robinson, Willie Moore. They were all hurt at the end of the year, so they're going to be rested. In addition, one of those many sites that I've touted, I like to go with ESPN Stats Inc., and they found that the Falcons have been much better when rushing 5 players. They're allowed teams to complete only 50.3% of their passes, which ranks them among the best in the league. When they send only 4, they're actually at the bottom end where they're only 23rd in the league. Now, if that's something that I'm aware of, I'm sure that the Falcons are aware of that, and they will try to pressure that rookie quarterback who's going to have to win consecutive big games on the road. So the Falcons can more than hold their own. They've got the experienced quarterback. They've got one of the best receiving cores. They also have the best tight end. Tony Gonzalez is probably the best tight end ever, and this guy never seems to be past his prime. He was in his prime 10 years ago. He's still in his prime. Obviously, with Julio Jones and Roddy White, they got a nice set of receivers. Decent running game. Michael Turner, maybe his younger years are behind him, but he's a veteran who should benefit greatly from the week off. And Atlanta's a very solid defense as well.
All right, well, it's a tough line. It's going to be a great game. You've definitely made your case for Atlanta. Thanks so much. Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Great preview as always.